Yo, people, what's going on? It's Eagle Talks Football. We're back again with another video. And today's show, we're going to be talking about Declan Rice. It seems like the £100 million move has been agreed. Step one in the many steps to see the signing. What is going on? Today is not my day. I don't know what the hell just happened.
What
Literally
happened?
midstream just cut me out of nowhere. But yo,
What?
guys, we're gonna get this show started. Let's get it started the right way. So yeah, Declan Rice news, Mbappe news, Gundogan, Cancelo. Some people don't like Castagne, but we're gonna talk about Castagne. And I got the new Arsenal kit. It's beautiful in person when you actually get to see it. And we got the Champions League badge as we are finally back in the Champions League. Let's get this show started.
Here we go.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yo, I think there's a little bit of background noise from your thing.
Oh, from mine.
I think your mic is picking up.
Okay. Hang on.
But yeah, you're saying congratulations on getting Declan Rice. It's not officially done, but you can consider it like the major step. Getting the fee agreed is the massive part of getting the deal done. I would say is the biggest part. Getting the fee agreed with the other club is probably the biggest part of the transfer window because personal terms with the player has already been done. Everything with the player is quite simple. The medical is quite simple. The hardest thing to do is to agree on a fee with the other party. And that seems to be what Arsenal have done yesterday. I did a full video breaking it down. The transfer does seem like it's happening at this point. I'm quite excited. I'm just going to put on the board. Of course, you guys should know my guy right here, Arsenal Informer in the building, of course. And he's going to help us talk about this whole stuff today. But first things first, we got to start. Before we go to Stan Kroenke and everything else, we got to start with Declan Rice. This £100 million move that was agreed. This happened about it seems like almost 24 hours ago from this moment in time. But yeah, let me just pop this on the screen for everyone to see, and let's get straight into it. So yeah, I don't know if that's not the best angle. Let's just go back to this angle. Let's go back to
Switching them all up. There we go, man. That's all good.
Yeah. So yeah, big up to Tamia Ahmed in the building. Big up to my guy here, Tyreek. We're gonna talk about Mbappe in a bit.
Yeah, we will.
We're gonna talk about Mbappe. People, I'm happy. Stop getting happy. We haven't officially signed Rice. Then what is the point of even speaking about transfers if we because the only time we should be talking about them is if they pull a holding up the shirt. Is that what you're saying? Come on, you're quite boring. Even you yourself you're coming here to hear about what's happening. You don't just want to hear about it when it's done. Come on, what are we in? Are we back in the year 2000? But yo, talk to me because I did a video about this. I'm excited. The transfer fee is done. Everything is finally starting to come out. My opinion is this was done a while back. It's just they waited until the celebration and everything with West Ham was over so they could actually announce it. But Jacob Steinberg, very reliable from The Guardian, announcing that Arsenal's £100 million bid has been agreed and or is close to being done and is expected to be around 100 million, which is 10 million add-ons, 92 million agreed fee. But yeah, take it away, bro. What do you got to say on this?
Yep, so you're right there. There was definite interest in January. We definitely inquired about him. And I think what's really interesting about Declan is that there was definite communication between Arsenal and West Ham even before the Conference League final. That's why we've been able to move so quickly for Declan. And actually, we planted the seed in his head of how good a project that Arsenal is. So that's why when clubs like Bayern have come calling, even Man United as well, Declan just wants Arsenal. I know for a fact he's spoken personally with Arteta. They've had many phone calls actually, not just one. I've had a source confirm that to me today. That there has been lots of communication between Arteta and Rice, and they both admire each other greatly. Currently, as far as I know, there hasn't been an official bid. I think what is going to happen is that there will be an agreement to sell, which is slightly different from a bid. I think we're learning from the Mudryk saga, where we continually increase the bids and make it very public. So what we will be doing, what I know has been happening as well, is that there's been a lot of like verbal bids going on. So we'll go to West Ham and go, right, we're thinking about 80 mil plus 10. What are you thinking about that? And they'll go, no, it still needs to be this structure. What are you thinking? 4 years installments and payments plus 10 mil for Champions League. They'll go, no, we want it in 2 years. So there's been really lots of communication going on. But I think once that bid goes in, I'm going to call it an agreement. Agreement to sell is what I've been hearing from a lot of my sources and people around me. I think it will be done. So, yeah, I think as far as I'm concerned, it's a done deal. I don't think any other club will go in for him. But, yeah, it's a really good one to watch. But we'll see what happens. Oh, I think you're muted, Igor.
A lot of the reports coming out today is that for the Declan Rice deal to fall apart at this point, it would have to take a catastrophic turn for the worst, which is almost improbable or impossible. And for Arsenal, he's the only option. He's not our only option. We have a lot of options in this transfer window, but he's our number one target. And when was the last time Arsenal were able to get a player who was our first choice through the door? Like, we haven't been able to do that a lot of times. And when was the last time we got a player in that everybody in world football seems to want also? That hasn't happened in a long time also. So I'm really excited about that Declan Rice stuff. I'm really happy that we seem to be moving like a big club. And everyone who's always angry, moping, and crying that we're not doing business early. We're doing business early now. You happy now? Or are you going to find something else to be angry about? Because as Arsenal fans, we always find something else to moan about. Be it people moaning about Castagne, people moaning about the fact that we haven't made a bid for Caicedo yet. Like, you understand that the transfer window hasn't officially opened and Arsenal are putting in £100 million bids? Like, this is unheard of. This is different. I personally find it refreshing to see the ambition that the club is showing by going for some of the best players in the league already in the Premier League, so we don't have to worry about him adjusting and embedding. I like the approach that we've been going to Man City, getting Jesus and Zinchenko. Now we're going to West Ham. We'll take your best player. It would be amazing if we could also go to Brighton and be like, you know what, give us Caicedo now. That's the next step for me. And that's where I think we have to speak about it next, because not only did they speak about Caicedo and Gundogan in that article, they spoke about Declan Rice, they spoke about Pepe also, and these guys. So it seems like there's a lot going on. Mikel Arteta is going to be getting rid of a bunch of players. So let me just show everyone what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy summer, 100%. I think on the Cedric and Pepe stuff as well, I think there'll be a lot of exits. I think they're two pretty much dead on to leave. Lots of really credible sources came out today and confirmed that. I think we know for a while that I don't think Cedric cuts the level of a title challenging team and a Champions League side. He's a good player, but with all due respect, when we're pushing for these sort of big titles, I don't think he cuts it. But just Pepe, I know he's a great player, but it didn't work out. If Arteta doesn't see him in his plans, I fully trust Arteta's decision. I'm sure Pepe will do great elsewhere, but so that's fair enough in my opinion.
This is what Arteta is being ruthless, and this is the ruthlessness of the news. I know Chris Wheatley is not the most reliable source nowadays, but this sounds about right. That Nicolas Pepe and Cedric will both surplus their requirements at Arsenal, and their representatives are currently finding them new teams for the 2023-2024 season. Pepe, particularly, is open-minded to the move to Saudi Arabia. Interesting. Interesting. Because if he goes to Saudi Arabia, we'll actually get a transfer fee.
Yeah.
I would love that.
The bag. 100 mil for Pepe, yeah. Likewise.
Give us nah, bro. You're being too crazy. Give us 20 mil for Pepe.
I'm only joking for the Saudi money.
If Lukaku's leaving Chelsea for 20 mil, just give us 20 mil. Because these guys are throwing around money like it's nothing. 20 mil is fair. If we start saying 100 million and stuff, they're gonna be like, no, Pepe is not that good.
They want him that much.
Even the Saudi Arabian teams know Pepe is not that good, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be honest. But we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Stan Kroenke and everything, but let's just go in chronicle order. It's Partey's birthday also. But yeah, where is it? So first things first. Martinelli, Zinchenko, El Neni, and Takahiro Tomiyasu are back fully fit and will be available for the beginning of summer preseason. That is good news. That is good news. I'm very happy to see that because we knew that they were injured, but now guess what? They're actually going to be available for the upcoming preseason games, and that's big because I thought Tomiyasu was going to be out until January.
Yeah, it was a tough injury to take as well, and there was a lot of talk. Interestingly enough, as well in that article, which I think is a little bit. I wanted the update from William Saliba. There was no mention of him, which I don't think not a lot of people know.
Are you concerned about Saliba's injury status?
I don't think I am, because I don't think Arsenal would have gone in for the contract if there was an serious issue with the player in terms of injury. And obviously he's gone on holiday for 2 weeks to Mykonos. He looks fine. Doesn't look like he's. I know it sounds really weird trying to dissect the photos that are out there with Saliba on his holiday, but he doesn't look like he's in any pain or in an awkward position or any sort of like straps going on in his upper torso. So I think he'll be ready for maybe not pre-season, but maybe for the start of the season, hopefully. But as I said, there's not much information currently.
Yeah. People saying, Iga, can I jump on quickly? Brendan, if you want to jump on, you can jump on. But we'll, just one moment. Let me just send him the link. Just send Brendan the link. But yeah, so as I send him the link, let's go to the next topic. We've already spoken about the Declan Rice stuff. Let's speak about the Caicedo and where is definitely. That? This is the part here. If you want to just read this out to everyone.
Yeah.
Let me know what you think.
Yeah, Arsenal are also considering bidding for Brighton's midfielder Moises Caicedo, who's wanted by Chelsea, and are trying to sign Manchester City's Ilkay Gundogan on a free. Yeah, so I don't want to be too pessimistic here, but I'm very uncertain about Caicedo coming to Arsenal. I've had some chats with a few people that are close to the player and people at Arsenal. And although there's lots of talk that after Declan Rice, we will go for Moises. We 100% will. I know that for a fact. We 100% will go for Moises. This is a fact. But I'm uncertain on this one. Declan, 100%. Moises, I'm 50-50 on this one. It's one I'm not certain on. I know Chelsea will throw the whole book at it, everything at it to try and sign him. They're a massive fan. I know Poch is a huge fan of him.
Gundogan's not happening. Let's be honest. Ilkay Gundogan has Barcelona, Manchester City, and Saudi Arabia. All three of them are ahead of us. Now, if he doesn't get a new contract at Man City, his first choice will be to try to stay in Europe and go to Barcelona. If Barcelona cannot afford the 3-year contract that they offered him, Al Hilal will give him more money than every other club. And he will also be given a retirement home, a place to call his final home. And let's be honest, if you've ever been to as a Muslim, he's gonna love Saudi. He's gonna love it. Halal food, the pilgrimage place is right there, Mecca. It's a great place to live.
Yeah, life of luxury.
And in the Middle East, everything is close. Everything's close. You go to Europe. You want to go to Europe. You want to go to Africa. You want to go to Asia. You want to go to America. It's in the middle of the world. It's literally in the middle of the world. But yeah, we got Brendan in the building also. Big up Brendan. But yeah, let's quickly let's just ask Brendan. Brendan, what's going on? You seen the news about Declan Rice and everything? It seems to be that we beat Manchester United, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Newcastle, all these teams to the signing. The deal is pretty much going to get done. The Guardian reported it yesterday. And what do you got? What's your take on it, man? You must be excited at least.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I don't know if you guys see me on the terrace yesterday, but I got posed a question by somebody, and they said to me, if you could only pick one out of Moises Caicedo and Declan Rice, which one would you rather? I'd rather Declan Rice. You know, I am excited about this signing. You're seeing a different Brandon, you see. I'm chilled. I'm relaxed. I like the players that we're being linked to. But Declan Rice, for me, offers more than Moises Caicedo. I look at our form towards the back end of the season, and I really think we lack leadership. I think he will bring that to Arsenal. He's also more experienced as well. You know, he's been in this West Ham side for a good 4 or 5 years now, consistently playing Premier League football. His injury record's very good. I think he'll be a top signing for Arsenal. I really do.
Okay, fair enough. Let's just change the camera angle so we got the four of us like this. There we go. That is better. But yeah, or 1 second, let's just try this. There we go. I'm gonna try something different.
That's different.
Get you there, and then we get. Oh, what happened? Can you see him?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna move that so we all can see each other, and then that's there. Boom, save. Okay, let's get it. So now, with as you guys can see here, what we're gonna be discussing, I just wanted to move on because I feel like we all speak about Gundogan and Caicedo so many times. Good news: Pepe and Cedric are going to be out. Brendan, you heard about this?
Yeah, I have. Good news. Of course, it's good news. You know, we need to move on from like deadwood players. We need to try and recoup a little bit of money so that we can hopefully invest that into the team in the transfer market. And let's be honest, Pepe, his time at Arsenal is done. You could tell that from the moment that we sent him out on loan, you know, and same with Cedric. Cedric was only ever really a stopgap. I just hope Arsenal sign a sufficient replacement.
Okay, now it's time for me to talk about some of the stuff. We got to talk about Kroenkes. If you guys don't know, the Kroenkes, where is it? The Kroenkes have lifted three major titles, actually four if you include the lacrosse. The NBA title, the Stanley Cup title, and the NFL, the Stanley Cup, the NFL Lombardi Trophy, the Larry Bird Trophy. Why am I saying the Larry Bird Trophy? The Larry O'Brien Trophy, and of course the Stanley Cup. So those are the three trophies. And if I show you guys what Stan the Man has been able to do is, the Rams have won in 2020, the Mammoths won in 2020, the Colorado Avalanche won in 2020, the Denver Nuggets won in 2023. Could it be in 2023, 2024 that Arsenal are the next team on the list, ladies and gentlemen? What are we saying? Do you guys think it's a possibility that we could pull it off? Because seeing him yesterday win another trophy, he might be getting used to the winning feeling. Him and Josh, definitely. And I don't think they're a problem as they used to be. I really don't think the ownership are the problem. I think it's the people who are in charge, and the players have not yet been good enough to get us in a position to win, but we're getting better as a club. And the way that they're running their clubs seems to be working. I'm going to start with you, Arsenal Informer. Do you think this can translate into the Premier League and help us?
100%. I think, like with most things in life, once you get that template, you can replicate it anywhere you go. You've seen him do it with multiple teams now. He's going to replicate it with Arsenal at some stage, and you've seen him back us in the transfer market. Like we've never done 100 million on a player, and also to go again for potentially fork out another 72 for Caicedo, maybe another 30, 40 for a replacement striker. Not replacement, second striker. So you're talking like a 200 million plus potentially window, which is unheard of as an Arsenal fan. Like if someone said that to me maybe a few years ago when there was people sort of questioning the Kroenkes and people saying like there's some issues with the management going on and things like that, and that we would this season challenge for a title, I'd say you're having a laugh. But to be honest with you, yeah, and I'm really excited. I think fair play to Josh as well as Stan. They've done really well. So hopefully they can replicate it with us. So we'll have to wait and see.
There you go. What about you, Brendan? Are you as optimistic as us about the new of the ownership and the direction they're heading the club in?
I think that's a difficult question to answer at the moment. What I would say is, since Mikel Arteta has been our manager, it's quite clear to see they have backed him. They've given him, sufficient amount of money to get the players in. I mean, if you look at it, in the space of 3 years, he's managed to overhaul an entire squad almost. Do you know what I mean? So you can't sit there and say that they haven't backed him. What I'd like to see now is them back him even further. And I know you were saying about £100 million on Declan Rice, and we've never done that before. And, the signs are good. However, I do feel that if we are to go and challenge next season, we need a minimum of £250 million spent this summer, because we've got so many positions within the squad that needs depth and needs filling. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, tying down our best players is a great start, because before at Arsenal, we used to just, let players let their contracts run down. We'd be losing our best players to other clubs. Now, all of a sudden, we're tying them down to new long-term deals. Declan Rice for 100 million looks like that's going through, and it looks like we're going to try and improve further. So, I think that question will be answered at the end of the transfer window for me. But as of right now, I'm still very sceptical,
Fair enough. I just don't think the owners have been the problem. I think the owners have been giving the people the money. I think it's been Edu and Arteta who've been making the decisions that have not just been able to get us to that point yet. Maybe they can get us there. Maybe they're not the people that get us there. But I don't think the ownership have been the biggest problem at Arsenal as of late. Now, I just want to go quickly. Have you guys heard about the Balogun stuff? Because I keep hearing stuff about Balogun. Every single day I keep hearing things about Balogun this, Balogun that. People saying we want to keep him. People saying we want to sell him. It does seem like the player is going to probably end up leaving Arsenal. I don't think Balogun's future is at Arsenal for the foreseeable future. A lot of people would rather sell Eddie Nketiah, but I don't think Eddie is going anywhere. I think it's really going to be a situation where we do get rid of Balogun. Eddie Nketiah ends up staying. And I just want to know what you guys think, because it does seem like the player himself wants to leave. And there hasn't been any reports yet that he officially says he wants to leave, but all signs say that he's going to be the one that heads out the door to fund whatever transfers we make. And I just want to know what everyone thinks about keeping Balogun or selling him, because for me, I'm okay with selling him as long as we get a buyback or a sell-on clause, because I feel like he still has a little bit more potential to reach. And if he does reach that, we could be selling him for a bargain price to somebody, and we might not get the return. So just protect ourselves a little bit there. But what do you? I'm going to start with you, Ollie. What are you saying?
Yeah. So speaking to people close to Balogun's camp, they want him to be a first-team starter wherever he goes. So that's the main reason why he's pushing to leave. So it's a case of whether Arteta can promise him solid game time and a real sort of trust that he will be part of his plans and will get significant game time. But if he can't promise that to Balogun, then he will 100% leave. There's been lots of interest in actually the Serie A as well. Serie A, fucking hell. But I know from people close to the player that he wants game time. That's his main focus now. Same with Charlie Patino. That's an interesting one. I think he will probably leave as well. He wants game time. He's not prepared to wait. So yeah, they want game time.
There you go. What are you saying, my guy, Brendan?
Yeah, see, I'm sort of in the same camp as you, Miguel. I think what you said is right. Providing we get a decent fee for him, providing we get a buyback clause, I'd be happy to move Balogun on. In my personal opinion, I think we should move on from both Balogun and Nketiah and use the money that we get from both of them to fund a better striker coming in for us. But it sounds like the club's going to stick with Nketiah for now. But that's the kind of the route that I'd be going down. I also feel like, this whole he wants game time, that's fair enough. You can't promise any player game time. You have to earn that right. You know what I mean? And when you're trying to break into an Arsenal team, one of the biggest teams in the world, and you got Gabriel Jesus ahead of you, you have to earn that. It's not just a case of we'll bring these players in, we'll promise them game time. No, if you're good enough, you get game time. If you're not good enough, then you won't. It's as simple as that. So if he wants to leave purely and down to them reasons, providing Arsenal get a good fee for him and providing Arsenal get a buyback clause, I'm happy for him to move on.
Okay, let's talk about the big one. Declan Rice is one guy, but imagine the possibility of signing Mbappe is now on the table for any club that is extremely serious. Now, Kylian Mbappe has made it clear to PSG that he's going to be leaving this. He will not be signing a new contract, keeping him past 2024, meaning they will need to sell him, or else they have a risk of losing him on a free come next season. And anyone in world football outside of the French league can give him a new contract in January. So if they wait until January to not sell him, they're going to lose him. So they have to sell him this summer. They've made it clear they do not want to sell to Real Madrid. They've also made it clear that they do not want to let him leave on a free. So they are going to sell him. Reportedly, Chelsea have said that they're not interested in buying him. Bayern have said that they're not in the race to buy him. That leaves Arsenal and Manchester United and Liverpool. Liverpool have not shown that level of ambition financially in a long time. So it's questionable if they will do that. In my opinion, it only leaves 3 realistic options. If he forces a move to Real Madrid, if he comes to the Premier League and joins Manchester United with the Qataris, or he comes to Arsenal and we have to go and spend at least 200 million to get him over the line. Now, is it possible? That's the question I ask you guys. And also, would you guys think Arsenal would ever even be able to attract him at this moment in time? Because I think we would be able to attract him. The thing is, would somebody else offer him more? Would we shy away from putting all the stuff to get him? That's the problem. I think if Manchester United get the Qataris, he goes to Manchester United. But regardless, I think he's going to be in the Premier League. If Real Madrid don't get their act together, he's not going nowhere else. But
I will cry on the stream if he goes Man United. I swear.
Bro, we got a problem because Manchester United got a new owner on their way. The Qataris are not playing games, and if they want somebody, they're going to get him. Why don't Arsenal say to themselves, Man City have Erling Haaland. We need something to cancel them out. Let's go and get my guy, the Ninja Turtle. Let's go do it.
It's a smart deal as well. It's a smart.
Let me start with Brendan because I always start with you, Ollie. Let me start with Brendan. Brendan, what are you saying?
100%. I couldn't agree more with what you just said there, Miguel. If Arsenal are the big club that they claim that they are, they would be involved in discussions with Mbappe's agents right now. Now, I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that he would definitely sign for Arsenal. But if we was a big club, we would be involved in the negotiations because I look at it, right, and I'm saying that we need 4, 5 top, signings in order for us to make that next step and maintain where we are and possibly win a league title / Champions League, right? This guy could be the final piece of the puzzle for us because he's a top class player. He can play in multiple positions as well. So, like Arsenal fans, like myself, we say we need a new striker, and we say we need sufficient cover for Bukayo Saka. Well, Kylian Mbappe offers that in both of them positions. So, if you was to go out and spend £50 million, let's just say, on a winger for cover for Saka, and then say 80 to 90 million pound on a striker, why not just go out and get Kylian Mbappe, who covers both of them positions already anyway? The only stumbling block that I see is he would command a hell of a lot of wages. But, like I say, if we're a big club, we should be involved in these negotiations and we should be looking at this guy and saying, look, if we get other targets over the line, i.e. Declan Rice, and other targets that we've got for other positions, why can't he be the finished final piece of the puzzle for us, like Erling Haaland was for Manchester City?
What about his wages? The man's currently on 890 pounds a week. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, we can't match that. So is Manchester United going to give him 890 pounds a week? No way.
It breaks your wage structure, really.
Who on earth is going to give him the money PSG is giving him? Nobody.
I think he knows that though. Like, will Real Madrid even match that sort of money? I don't think they would.
Bro, I think the man is on more money than our whole club.
I don't even think Real Madrid would match that sort of money though. I think Real Madrid would probably offer him $500,000 a week, maybe 600,000 maximum. So I think wherever he goes, he's going to have to take some form of a slight wage cut anyway. But it just depends on him. If you can convince him that this is the team that he needs to be at, bearing in mind he nearly signed for us before he went to PSG as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But this guy might have a problem. This guy might stop us because if Manchester United get Jassim, the Qataris, they already have the link to Mbappe. So that's the problem. But I'm just going to say this. His shirt sales alone, someone in the comment section said, I think it's Ben. Ben said his shirt sales alone would probably pay for his wages. That would be true. Yeah. But you know what? Yeah. Let's go to more realistic transfers. That was a fun little segment in the show because, of course, Mbappe, when you guys all seen that, you probably all got a little excited. But let's be honest. Now, sadly, we got to go back to reality and talk about Castagne. the drop-off in quality is crazy. But yeah, you know what? A lot of people are upset about this transfer. I'm going to go to you, Brandon. Are you upset that we're linked to Castagne, or do you understand it? Because I see a lot of people saying, what the hell is going on? Why are we linked to him? We should be going for more quality than this guy. But I get it. He's a quality player. He's in Leicester's team. Leicester got relegated. We find an opportunity to get a cheap player. And I think he's definitely an upgrade on Cedric. But some people are saying we just signed Cedric 2.0.
Difficult one. I don't think he's much better than Cedric. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's like a player that if we was to get him, that would be fighting Ben White for a place in the starting lineup. I don't see that really. Like I see a player who's a bench warmer, basically, you know, and only comes into the team if we have an injury or a suspension. And that element kind of worries me a little bit because I just feel like where we are now, like some of the players that we've currently got in our starting 11 should become the bench players, if that makes sense. Not saying that Ben White should be a bench player or anything like that at all. But what I am saying is we should be looking for better quality, or at least on the same level as the players that we've currently got in the squad. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves in a predicament again where we've got players on the bench that are not good enough, and there's a complete drop-off in level if we end up having to play these guys. So for me, it's not really somebody that I'd be looking at personally. You know, I'd be looking at maybe going one better than him. You know.
Okay. What about you? What are you saying, Arsenal informer?
Yeah. So on this, I've been told, sort of in collaboration with Lorenzo, through Lorenzo's contact, that there's nothing concrete yet. So don't everyone sort of freak out. Like there hasn't been like an official proposal. Of course, they're interested. I think it's more sort of they're thinking about shrewd business. Obviously, Leicester City being relegated means that certain players are on a cut price. I do agree as well with what you were saying about how there could be sort of a drop off in quality in terms of the sort of the player. I think it's an extremely valid point. Is he Cedric 2.0? I think he's slightly better than him because he starts probably in quite a few Premier League sides. But yeah, it's one to watch. As I said, if anything, it's a decision that is made on business terms and economic terms. They're just like most clubs. They're looking into the possibility because when a side gets relegated and there's a cut price and a cut fee for a player, then it's a possibility. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're also linked to a player from Spain, Villarreal star, Nigerian wonder kid, Chukwueze. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. We've been linked to this guy so many times, and I just say to myself, every time we're linked to him, I don't believe it because you know what those players. It just seems like who's that guy that went to PSG? Julian Drexler. Mm-hmm. Every time we got linked to Julian Drexler, didn't you guys just roll your eyes? It seems like that kind of link because he's linked to so many different clubs. It just don't make sense to me why we would do this. But yeah, people in the comment section, let me know what you guys think. I think this is another one that we can just say is fake news. What do you guys think? Fake news, real news?
Yeah, I think it's pretty evident that, you know, it's another player that we always have these players as well, Arsenal, where we're linked to them transfer window after transfer window after transfer window. You know, Wilfried Zaha is another example. You could go to Draxler. Yeah, that was a great example. I think he's another one of them, you know. They just like linking him because they'd probably look at the project that's going on at Arsenal. Young player. He's a young player, exciting talent. He's probably an exciting talent. And they, you know, put 2 and 2 together and they come up with 5. So that's what I see.
You know what? I was just going to say, moving quickly. Unless you had something to say, Arsenal Informer, on that
No.
crazy thing. Ivan Fresneda, what's going on with him? Do you have any update on him?
As far as I know, it's the same as before. Obviously, when they got relegated, his release clause got slashed in half to 20 mil. I've heard recently as well that he's changed agents. Actually, I should probably double check that because I need to change who I'm messaging. But no, I heard there was reports that he's also changed his agency, which could indicate that he is not happy with how his agents are currently acting in the transfer market. Maybe he wants a move quicker. So I know that he's got 20 million release clause currently, and also that there was also lots of reports coming out saying that the deal could be done for even less than 20 mil euros. So yeah.
There you go. Before we move on to the next topic, people asking about Santi Cazorla. It was the last Villarreal player from Arsenal. No, Santi Cazorla went to Villarreal afterwards, didn't he? Somebody asked something about Gundogan. We already spoke about Gundogan. Gundogan deal's done. But you know what's interesting? He's probably not going to come to Arsenal, in my opinion.
In terms of Gündogan, in terms of contact on that, there's definitely been a contract offer there. I can confirm there was a contract offer, but I agree with you, Igor. I don't think it will happen. There's 4 options there, as we spoke about earlier on in the stream. So you got Saudi, stays at Man City, Barcelona, and then Arsenal. And I think we're low down in the pecking order, to be honest with you. But it's important to know we have offered a contract. But yeah, so we'll see what happens.
You know, the next person I was going to ask about was, did you guys see Diaby? Because Manchester United are now interested in Diaby. And that came out of nowhere, really. I thought Manchester United weren't really in for him. But I don't think we're even in for him too much. Like, Moussa Diaby just seems to be another player we're just linked to all the time. I don't know if it's concrete enough to be like, you guys really, I'm not going to cry over it if Manchester United get him. Like, it is what it is. Like, we're not going to spend the type of money, 65 million that they want for Diaby. No way. With Reiss Nelson signing a new contract, I don't think we get a wide player this window.
100%. Yeah, it's a very valid point. I think the us tying down Nelson is a really strong indication that we will probably not go out for a right winger. Of course, there is still a possibility, but I think when there's Nelson now being tied down, then it's another option. It's like we sort of sign a new player again.
The difference between him and Xavi Simon is Xavi can also play in the 8, where Diaby can't do that.
Yeah, that's another one we haven't spoken about yet, which we should probably.
We're gonna get onto it. Brendan, what are you saying about Diaby?
To be honest with you, Egel, although we're linked to him quite a lot, I don't really know too much about the player. But if they're kind of asking for that sort of money, I don't see Arsenal signing him. Especially, like as you said, we just tied down Reiss Nelson to a new contract. I don't see any reason why Arsenal will go and spend that sort of money on a wide player. There's no real need. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, fair enough. And then we also have that kid Xavi Simon, who we've been linked to many times over the last couple of weeks. I'm not gonna lie, he's an alternative at that wing/8 position. But let's just get into some of the conversations here. Is there anything that you guys are concerned about? Because we're 13 days into June. The transfer window hasn't officially opened. Declan Rice seems to be almost all but done. There doesn't seem to be too much conversations around the other transfers yet. Is it business as usual, or do you think this is just because it's still early? What were you saying, Ollie? You think it's business as usual, or as fans we're just getting worried for no reason?
Yeah, just something to note as well on Xavi Simons, just to let everyone know. A lot of people probably know this anyway, but obviously Darren Dean is his agent, which obviously everyone knows he has links to Arsenal. I think there is more possibility of Xavi going to Arsenal than there is Diaby going to Arsenal, solely because he's more versatile. Obviously, you got that link there with Arsenal. We played PSV. We played PSV as well in the Europa League, and the way he played was incredible. So I'm sure Arteta noted that as well. So I think that's a really interesting one to watch. I do think there will be movement on Xavi Simon. So yeah, it's definitely one to watch to keep an eye out on. 100%.
Brendan, you were going to say something before you go, because I know you got to go.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's not a problem. You said you was going to get into some of the comments in the comment section or something.
Yeah, I was just gonna see any questions, people, because I know some people had some questions. People saying Xavi Simon would be a good signing. What about Vlahovic? I don't think we're going back in for Vlahovic, and I don't think Arsenal are signing a striker this window. Let's be honest. Even though we all would agree another striker wouldn't hurt, but it just doesn't seem to be the main focus. And goals wasn't our problem, I would say, last season. Defending was our issue in the final end of the season.
However, I'm going to argue against that point there. I think we need a striker, to be honest with you, because if you look at Arsenal last season, what we did very, very well was we shared the goals around the pitch. You know, Odegaard coming up with goals, Saka, Martinelli, you know, Jesus, even Nketiah at a point as well. So we shared the goals really well around the pitch. Now, it's going to be more difficult to replicate that again than what it will to get 20, 25 goals out of a striker. And I just feel like Gabriel Jesus is not the guy who's going to get us 20, 25 goals a season. So I feel like striker is a priority if we are to, you know, take steps towards challenging Manchester City and going far in the Champions League. So I'll be very, very disappointed if Arsenal don't go and get a striker this
Guess
summer.
what? If we let Kieran Tierney leave, we might not get another left back, because now that we play Tomiyasu there, Zinchenko there, and we also have KVR that we can play there. We basically have 3 left backs. So are we going to now go and sign another one? I don't think we're going to sign another one. That's why Castagne makes sense, because he can play right back and he can play left back. So in the case, it gives us more versatility and more cover again. And Ben White can now be that backup center half. We don't need to go and sign another right-footed center half to cover for Saliba if he's injured, because Ben White is still good cover for Saliba.
It's a big mistake to make, I think. Big mistake. Because if you look at...
How many defenders do you want to sign this summer, though?
Well, let's look at it this way, right? If you look at Zinchenko, we all know his defensive deficiencies, right? But let's say Zinchenko ends up with a period of time out. Tomiyasu's injury prone, so he can't be relied upon. And then you're going to stick Kivior there. And let's be honest, Kivior didn't look like 100% comfortable playing at left back for Arsenal towards the back end of the season. So I just don't feel like he would be the solution to that. And then let's look at Manchester City as well, right? Look at how many defenders they've got. They've got Ake, they've got Laporte, they've got Diaz, they've got Walker, they've got Cancelo currently on the books, and they're now looking at going and signing that what's his name? Guardiola, right? So they've got a lot of defenders on their books. We haven't really got that many defenders on our book. I feel like that's an area we need to strengthen in.
Ollie, what are you saying? How many defenders do you think we bring in this window?
It's a possibility. I know Simican. There was Joseph Sutalo.
So you're thinking a fullback
no,
and a center?
No. In terms of the players that we're interested in, but I don't know, to be honest. I think in terms of areas in the pitch that we need to deal with, I think defensively we're okay for now. I know, obviously, if we want to push further. What do you mean? If your face is instantly dropped.
No, my man said Firmino. Another person said Lukaku. Like, what are we doing here, people?
Oh, I thought you were talking about that. No, because we wait. What? There's no heads going.
I'm sorry, I would disagree completely when you say that we're okay in the defensive area. Like, in terms of our quality, I don't really know. You know, let's just say we see the drop off in our defensive ability when Saliba got that injury, right? And I know it's if, buts and maybes, but let's just say Saliba picks up another injury, or even Gabriel for an example. The drop off in quality is massive. If you look at our last 8 games of the season, we conceded 16 goals. Like,
but Tomiyasu was also injured at the same time, which is
exactly. And this is what I mean. Like, we need. I think we need to improve that area.
You know what else we need to improve? We need to improve the midfield first. So this whole thing about signing center half strikers. If we bring in 3 midfielders, that allows us to not have to focus so heavily on defending.
It's a solid base.
The midfielders, and the midfield is where the game's won. And let's be honest, Xhaka, we've always spoken about how bad he is mobility-wise. Partey, not consistent. If we get Rice and Caicedo, I think that's the groundwork of a title-winning side for the next 5 years. But yeah, we're going to be wrapping up very soon. I need you guys to do me a favor, though. Hit that goddamn like button. We got 5 more minutes before the show's done. I know you guys got to go. Just stick by me for like a couple more minutes. Do me a favor. Hit that goddamn like button. It's absolutely free. Continue to throw your questions in the chat. We had one more question here. We had a couple more questions. Lukaku, no. Everyone agrees, right? Lukaku, no. Roberto Firmino is a quality player, but no to Roberto Firmino. Ivan Toney in January. Hell yes. I would take Ivan Toney in January right away. I don't know about you. What are you saying?
All agreed. Yeah.
That signing there would be music to my ears. Because if you think about it as well, right? Ivan Toney, if you sign him now and he comes in January, he makes an impact, then he's basically like a January signing anyway. And you just look at the qualities of the guy as well and what he can offer this Arsenal team. He's a completely different player to like Gabriel Jesus in the sense that he's physical, he holds up the ball well, he can finish. Not saying that Gabriel Jesus can't finish, but what I'm saying is he's more of a clinical striker than what Jesus is. And I just think he's the perfect player that I'd be looking at personally.
Fair enough. What else we got? Ivan Toney in January. That's a really good thing right there. I haven't really seen any wild shouts. Anybody have any wild shouts?
Mbappe.
Miguel, are you going?
I've got one.
No, I'm not going to America.
I've got a wild shout. I don't know how wild it is though, right? Yeah. We was talking about the defensive area. I'd be looking at Levi Colwill.
No way Chelsea sell to Arsenal.
Well, they have before.
They turned down 30 million. We would have to give them 50 million for an unproven
great
center.
Player. He's a good player.
Would you be willing to pay the same amount of money you paid for Ben White for Levi Colwill?
Well, Ben White's turned out all right.
No, but Levi Colwill is way more unproven than Ben White. And you remember the uproar for us spending the type of money that we spent on Ben White. Why wouldn't there be the same level of uproar for a guy? He's only started like 13 games in the Premier League.
No, I understand that. But then saying that, we're looking at paying 75 million for Caicedo, who's had one good season in the Premier League. So
guys, forget about Ramos. He's going to Saudi Arabia. Everyone's going to Saudi Arabia. They're giving you 800 million to be a retired player.
I got another one. I don't think it'd happen though. But again, I'd be involved in the negotiations if I was Arsenal. Bernardo Silva.
There's no way. There's no way Bernardo Silva is leaving Man City to come to Arsenal.
Well, he's leaving Man City. So
he's leaving Man City to go to Barcelona. I think Barcelona are going to sell Manchester City, De Jong or something. It only makes sense. But we're going to have to wrap this up. Everyone, I appreciate you guys watching this channel. Do me a favor, hit that like button right now. We're not past 100 likes. All I need is 15 of you guys to hit that like button right now. We get past 100 likes. And also, I'm going to be live on Husam's channel after this. This is football. I'm going to put the link in the chat for the video. Make sure you guys do stay locked, because whenever there's news or anything going on, I'm going to keep you guys up to date. Today, there's not really too much. I kind of covered everything with the Declan Rice stuff at the beginning, and we're going to get into more of the conversations as the season goes on. But you know what? Transfer windows, they go quick. A lot of stuff happens. So stick with us. We'll be here. We got another show tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll do a call-in show. Big up my guy, Arsenal Informer, for jumping on. Really do appreciate it. Brandon, of course, for jumping on. And guys, do me a favor. Check out Husam's channel. The link is in the chat right now. I've just pinned it. To the top of the thing, so you guys can jump on after we're done. But yeah, and big up to all you guys. We got over 100 likes. This is great. 300 people in the stream too. What a great stream this has been. But yeah, big up to all you guys. Go check out Arsenal Informer on Twitter, and of course his articles. As you guys know, he's keeping us informed on all the latest Arsenal news. And say what up to my arch nemesis Brandon in the chat. everyone. Here you go. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day. We're out of here. Peace.